Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Lior and I help individuals like yourself to discover and reveal the light within. Today I wanted to share with you guys my story, part of my story. My story is really big and expansive like yours is probably, but I wanted to share with you guys a part of it. And part of this story goes back to how we choose our partners in life and what the consequences from choosing the wrong partner could be. Now, when I'm saying about choosing the wrong partner, and I tell you guys my story, I'm not telling you from a place of regret or that it shouldn't have happened, because I do believe that there are certain mistakes that we are supposed to make. And the reason I'm sharing this is for your benefit. Because if I would have known what I'm about to share with you in this video back then I would have had a compass. I would have had some direction. You know, young girls are being sent out in the world today with what? What are we equipped with? What do we know? You know, what does school actually teach us? We get some biology. Yes, we are going to talk about the sexual act between a man and a woman. You know, and young girls need to be knowing this. They need to be knowing what this is. I remember when I was teaching at the school, and I came I was teaching 11th grade, and I was like, okay, I was teaching English as a second language, and I was like, what do you guys want to talk about today? And they're like, we want to talk about sex. I'm like, okay. And that kind of shocked them. I think they were just trying to, you know, pull one over on me, and I was like, let's go. And then I went on to explain to them the energetic that is behind sex. And that's what I want to explain to you today. And if you can find yourself in this video, if you can see anything from your past relationships, anything from your past experiences, then share in this video. Share with others. You know, we need to communicate with others. We need to communicate with young girls. If you know a girl who's at that age where she's dating and you know that might be a thing, then share this video with her. Information is so important, and that the correct information. You know, in school they learn about sex, yes. What are they learning? They're learning about the physicality and how it works. But spiritually, we know that physicality is just 1%. What's going on with the 99%? Nobody's telling us anything about the 99%. And that's the 99% is where everything originates. And so why are we focusing on 1%? So like I said, if you know someone, then send them this video. So the energetics of sex. Yes, there is a physical aspect to sex, but much more important is the energetic. When two people come together, whether it's kissing, whether it's fondling, no matter what the extent of it is, there is energy being exchanged between these two individuals. And you have to ask yourself, because when you have intercourse with a man, you are taking on his energy. What kind of man is he? What kind of young man is he? You're taking on his energy. You're taking on, if it's unprotected sex, you're taking on his DNA. You are binding your souls together. Okay, we have to understand that it's the binding of our souls. That means each one of us come into this world with a soul plan, with a soul's mission. My mission is to transform in these different areas. And so that means I'm going to have difficulties in these areas because they're areas I need to transform. So when you come together with your partner, you are taking on his karma, his things that he's supposed to be transforming. You guys are like weaving your destinies together. That's why it's so important after you've had sexual relationships and you separate, that you go through a meditation, go through a cleansing process, a ritual of cutting ties, energetic ties. There's so often couples will be together for a long time. I'm talking years, like over 20 years, and they start to look like each other. They start to speak like each other. You know, it's crazy, but you know, we see it all the time. But I don't think we put it in the contents where it needs to be. A woman's body we are the vessel. Okay, we are taking the man's energy in us. So of course, we are going to have certain symptoms that show up. Either the energy is in harmony with our energy, or we end up with yeast infections. We end up having pain. We end up having some kind of discomfort. We end up having bladder infections. These are not, they're not originating in the 1% physical world, okay? I know you go to the doctor and they'll give you a cream or whatever, but that's not where the origin of this challenge is coming from. Challenge is your yoni is extremely intuitive, and it's trying to tell you, hey, this energy you're letting in is not okay. It's not in harmony with you. You need to separate. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow, but just from my experience, I had 3 people before I got married, and I was married for 19 years, 4 children later. And the children are the blessings that came out of that. But the repercussions that the children also have to carry with this decision that I made. You know, I know it's part of their soul plan, and I know it's part of their journey. And so I'm not looking at faults. I'm not looking at, well, I should have, oh my gosh, regrets. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about reflecting on something that is in the past so that we can learn from it. And so I can share with you guys, okay? So just to know, I'm grateful for all 19 years, even the hard parts, everything. I'm grateful for it all, and I'm grateful for him, okay? But I'm going to explain to you how it happened in my life so that you can understand and reflect, is this situation kind of like the situation I'm going through, or like so-and-so, my friend's going through? I want to share it with you guys just for that reason. Because like I said, I wish that somebody would have spoken to me and given me this information. First of all, when I was contemplating marrying him, 3 people, including my mother, said, don't do it. My whole life I had been dating. Nobody ever told me not to marry somebody or not to date them or had made any comments about my boyfriends. And so I was, that should have been a stopping thing. The universe speaks in a whisper to us. And spiritually now I know, I'm very attuned now that if one person comes to me with something that they see inside me, then it depends who that person is. If they're my mentor or something, then yeah, I kind of perk up. I'm like, okay, I need to look at that. And I go into isolation. I go before the Creator. I say, okay, show me what you're wanting to tell me exactly, because I'm not quite getting it. And I'll start having dreams. I start having other people tell me maybe the same thing. And so there is a wisdom in the universe. Everything is not random. The creation, the Creator, there is wisdom behind it. So that's the first thing, I had not just one person, but 3 people tell me that. 3 different people at 3 different times. And I was like, no, I just ignored it. And now I know better. I know that's like a siren going off. If the universe is talking, it's going to come from different sources. And they were all, trusted sources, friends, like I said, my mother. And so they weren't random people off the street. Although that would probably made an impact too. A random person coming off the street, hey, you're supposed to marry that. You're not supposed to do that. Huh? So, but the universe works with whispers, with talking to our souls. And our soul, we have to wake up. We don't want to grab onto something that is not for us. We waste time with that. We waste energy with that. And we're not completing our soul's journey. It's not going to be fulfilling. It might be for a certain time, but eventually it's going to bite you in the butt big time. And that was my experience. I stayed with him way too long and went through things that I shouldn't have gone through. Luckily, I was advancing spiritually and working on myself that I was strong enough to break away, and I knew my path from there. But all those years, all that time, we are eternal beings, so I guess I can look at it that way. But and it may have been just a pattern I had in a past life that it was just repeating itself. That's kind of what I'm feeling. Like I made the same mistake, basically. I was my ego was offering me a person to be with, and I jumped on that knowing intuitively. I mean, every month I was having infections. Yeast infections, urinary tract infections, pain down there, and after intercourse, I would always feel empty. I would always feel like just totally empty. And we think that these things are just normal. We just take them as, oh, it's just part of it. But it's not. I'm here to tell you guys, it's not part of it. You shouldn't feel empty after you have intercourse with someone. If you have the right person, that energy is, you guys increase each other's energy, and you become like an energy force in itself, like a third entity or something. It's amazing when you're with the right person. And so energetically, it has to fit. You're taking on this person. Would you want to be this person? You know, he had all sorts of addictions. He had all sorts of addictions in all sorts of different areas. And I actually, now thinking back, this just came to me. I fell into an addiction when I was with him. That wasn't there before. And so that's it's you start taking on the person's essence. You take on their energy. You become one. That's what it means. That's what the Bible means. When we become one, we seriously become one. And it took a lot of self-reflection, a lot of reflecting over that time in my life, and cutting ties and coming to terms with what it taught me and what it was supposed to be, to really close that door energetically. Because if somebody's been in your life for such a long time and you've had so many things together, there's an energetic, almost like an energetic bondage there that you have to break free from. And that's why I'm here to tell you guys, if you have an inkling, if there's any type of things going on physically with you, if you feel like you're being drained of energy from this person, if you feel like if you're getting infections, like I said, our yoni is intuitive. If you get infections, if you feel discomfort, you need to listen and hone into that. You can have anything you want in this world. The universe isn't going to stop it. But do you want those things that are meant for you on a soul level? Having a soul, a partner that matches your soul's energy is amazing. It's simply amazing. And it's just, we compromise and we settle for things. And why do we do this? You know, why? It's all part of our soul's journey. Why am I just taking what's there without really seeing, is it something that's good for me? Is it something that we can work together? And this, I didn't know this was the thing, but you can fall in love with somebody's potential. You can actually fall in love with the potential that you see in a person. That's a thing. And so I saw his potential, but he was never, I swear to God, after 19 years, when we broke up, he went exactly back to what he was from the first day we met. And I was like, wow, it was such an eye-opener to me that you can be with somebody for so long and you can be dragging them along and they're not progressing. They're not changing. And why do you want to do that? And to say that somebody doesn't fit together with you, why is that something negative? It's kind of like a puzzle. When we're putting a puzzle together, we find a piece and it doesn't fit there. Do we get mad at the puzzle? Do we slam down that piece and make it fit? Why do we do that with relationships? Why? That's basically what we're doing with relationships constantly. We're slamming something into place that does not belong there. So I want you guys to really think about where you're at now, where have you been in the past, and really ask yourself the question, on an energetic level, does my partner fit to me? On an energetic level, do I want to have this one night stand? And I'm not talking about morals and stuff like that. I'm not even going there. Okay, I'm not talking about right or wrong. What is right, what's wrong, and who's to say? That's not what I'm saying. You have to know what's right for you, but you have to have the information to at least make an educated decision. And that's what I'm trying to provide you guys with today. I'm opening up my experience so that you guys could benefit from it. So if you are in this situation, then self-reflect. If you've been in situations before where you know, oh my God, yeah, I always had yeast infections after we had sex, then write that in the comments. If you know somebody, especially young girls, they have no clue. Like I said, my 11th graders, they have no clue. When I stopped that lesson that day, they were just like, oh my God, we never knew. They were shocked. They were completely shocked. And they came back and told me later, One night stands are out for me. I'm not doing that anymore. Or they came back and told me, I look at my partner now and I choose him only if I want to be him. If I respect him so much, not his potential, ladies, not his potential, but if I love him and respect him so much that I would want to be him, that's when I know that we can have a relationship. So honor yourselves. There are plenty of people out there, and not everybody fits to us, and it doesn't make it wrong or right. It doesn't make the person bad or good. It's just an energetic transfer of energy. Does it fit or does it not? Think of the puzzle. If a puzzle piece is the wrong piece, it's not a bad piece. It just belongs somewhere else, and that's okay. Learn to ask for what your soul really desires. Learn to ask what really belongs to you on a soul level. And don't settle for those things that have no resonance with you, they're not on the same frequency as you. Honor yourself, respect yourself, and love yourself. That's your base point.